Hi, guys, and welcome to the Black Friday Business Bonanza. My name is Rebecca Willows. You can all call me Bex. And today I have with me the absolutely phenomenal Tariq EQ Amawi, calling in today from France. Tariq is an incredible orator, a real powerful wordsmith, and I've called him on today to talk about self-talk and how important it is to really be able to speak to yourself correctly in order to create massive success. So thank you so much for coming on, Tariq, and I'll let you fire away and blow us away with your magical words.
No pressure, right? First of all, thank you so much for having me here. And it's a real joy to speak about speaking. It's something that has come into the foreground of my life more and more in the recent years. First of all, I'm just going to preface it by saying it's Tariq as opposed to Tariq.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. So many people call me Tariq, so I'm used to it. But yes, it's Tariq. And so I'm here at your service. Let me know what I can share with you. Any questions you have, anything like that.
Okay, so I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about how you create a better relationship with speaking to yourself. I think it's really important for success to be able to almost flip the script of the way we've been conditioned to speak to ourselves. But do you have any tips or tricks that you can share with us on how to do that?
So the thing to bear in mind here is you are always being programmed. If you look at yourself as a walking, talking biological computer that is constantly being programmed, the next question that arises is, well, who's doing the programming? So either you are programming yourself, or the marketers, the advertisers, the people out there in the world with very deep pockets and endless bank accounts will be programming you. And so self-talk is the most direct way we can take charge and own and harness that ability to program ourselves. And unfortunately, what I see is so many people are talking down to themselves, admonishing themselves, blaming themselves, criticizing themselves. And the thing that I would ask you here is, well, if the world is going to do that anyway, why be the one to do it to yourself? You know what I mean? It's like you have to be able to stand up for yourself in order to go out there into the world and make things happen. And when it comes to self-talk, you will always trust your own voice more than any voice of anyone else out there. So what you say becomes either constructive or destructive to your health, to your thoughts, to your emotions. I mean, I believe you can literally talk yourself into a fit and toned body. And I know that sounds really preposterous to presume, though you'd be surprised how much the stories you tell yourself influence the physical, tangible, biological results. So I say things to myself that I believe prime my muscles, prime my digestive system for a more healthy, more effective, more positively expressed physique. And it's kind of like this. It's like if you have, let's say you're eating a bite of cake and you really love cake. When you take that bite, are you saying, oh, I'm so grateful for this amazing chocolate cake. I mean, think about this incredible recipe that must have been passed down a couple of generations. Some baker sat there making this, pouring their love into this cake, and now I get to taste the fruits of their labor. Do you eat a piece of cake like that? Or do you eat a piece of cake like, oh, this is going to go right there. I know exactly the place on my hips where this is going to stick to. And I'm just so guilty, and what I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to anyway. You don't enjoy it. And now you're literally eating a spoonful of guilt. And that guilt will then manifest in your body, putting on more weight. So it really all depends on the stories you're telling yourselves. In fact, there was a scientific study done where a group of hotel maids who were all overweight were taken into a room, and these scientists came in and they said, wow, you're flipping over these heavy mattresses, you're running up and down these flights of stairs, barreling down hallways, attending to all of these rooms multiple times a day. You're burning so many calories. Wow, you must be really fit. And because they changed that story going on in the minds of these hotel maids, they began to lose weight. They didn't change what they were doing. It's just that what they were already doing started to serve them much more constructively. And they found that when other hotel maids were brought into this hotel, if they themselves were more fit, just because they were around everyone else who believed that they weren't doing any physical activity, they started to gain weight. So it's incredible how powerful storytelling becomes, especially when we're telling it to ourselves. And I noticed this in my life many years ago, where I was living in England, and the news and the mainstream media would say, it's, cold and flu season. Here's the latest cough syrup you can take. Here's the nail, And what happened was I was experiencing colds and coughs like everybody else, because I believed that's what was going to happen. When I shifted that programming and started to tell myself, I am healthy, I am well, my natural state is one of wellness. My natural state is one of supreme health. And I started telling myself that I haven't had a cough or cold for like maybe 14 years. So these things are really powerful. And what I encourage you to do is just look at and explore the ways that you're talking to yourself. And if you're talking to yourself negatively, record yourself saying positive things as an MP3 is one of my favorite things to do, and play it back first thing in the morning, while you're going on a jog, while you're taking a walk, or just before you go to sleep at night, because you will believe yourself. So if you are saying positive things about you, the security guards in your prefrontal cortex that act as the screening of what does and does not enter your mind will go, oh, we recognize this voice. This is a trustworthy voice. We'll let them in here, this way. And so it becomes like either a Trojan horse or this positive injection of inspiration that goes into your mind. So be the one to program yourself.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And do you have any specific phrases or terms that you use to prime your mindset to believe in yourself more, or to give yourself more credit or ability?
Yeah, sure. I created what I call a walking, breathing meditation. And it goes with every breath and step I take. And then it says some form of affirmation. And what I can do is I can find it and send it to you, and you can feel free to share it with all of your listeners and anybody who's tuning in today. But the way that this works is you're constantly taking breaths and steps. So if you're going for a walk, you're constantly going, and you're going to be taking steps. So if you say, with every breath and step I take, I become increasingly more confident. You say it once, but then you continue to take steps and breaths. So what you're programming your mind is, with every step, you're becoming a little bit more confident than you were with the previous step. And I like to paint images with my words. I'm a big fan of figurative language. And so I would say things like, fat melts off my body like ice under the hot summer sun. It's visual. You can immediately see it in the theater of your mind. I say things like, muscles grow easily on my body, or big muscles grow on my body like the fruits on the trees in the Amazon. Negativity and concern slide off me like water off a duck's back. People's fears and projections fall off like autumn leaves. When you say things like that, because it's visual, and we are highly visual creatures, highly pictorial creatures, and we have a unique ability that other animals don't, which is to simulate possible future scenarios in our mind in order to work through what the best course of action is to take. And so a lot of people are basically running, it's almost like this, like imagine, who has a movie out there that you don't like, right? A movie that you're like, oh, where I wish I could get those 2 hours back. One of those movies, imagine you put one of those movies on and there's a particular scene that you hate the most. And it's like playing that scene from start to finish, and then rewinding that scene and playing it again, and rewinding that scene and playing it again, and then playing it frame by frame in slow motion. It's like that's what people do. They constantly rehearse the scenarios they don't want. So of course, they're going to manifest more of those. And it's really important to put into your mind the things that are going to create the results that you want. So if a lot of negativity and stuff isn't serving you, stop doing it. Stop poisoning your mind and body with things that aren't serving you. And it really is just becoming aware of what input is there and how you are speaking to yourself. And so this takes practice. You have to understand that human beings by nature are negative. And so, and the reason for that is because 100,000 years ago, walking on the plains of the Serengeti or out in the savannas and in the wilderness, you had to be able to spot danger. Otherwise, you died. So, for example, if you thought that a large stick in your path was a snake, that's not so dangerous. But if you thought a large snake was nothing more than a stick, you could be bitten and killed. So we're constantly on the lookout for danger, potential hazards. That is our natural state. So don't blame yourself if you're feeling negative, especially in today's media washed landscape. Cultural narrative plays a huge part in how you see the world, you see yourself. And just know that you have a lot of things working against you. So it's okay if you're not feeling okay. It's not your fault. However, changing it is your responsibility, because nobody's going to go in there and change it for you.
I love that. Thank you so much. I'm going to be mindful of everybody's time and wrap it up there. Tariq, thank you very, very much for your time and all your value. I really appreciate that. And guys, just remember that, like Tariq said, it is your responsibility to change your mindset. Nobody else can do it for you. Be mindful of what you're thinking about and try and flip the script by using all your senses. I feel this, I see that, I smell this, I hear that. By making it into a picture that you can really imagine, then you can really, really change the neurons in your brain to fire a different way. And it's really powerful.
Sure. Just two more things that I'd like to leave your audience with is recognize that turning your mindset from a negative one to a positive one is like driving your car through the snow. The first time you do it, your wheels are going to get stuck. You're going to have to really struggle. You might even have to get out and push the car a little bit. But once you've plowed your way through that snow the first time, the second time becomes a little bit easier because those grooves have already been formed. And as you drive the car over and over again, forming that positive channel, what you are going to realize is it becomes easier and easier until it flips into your default mode. So it takes a while to be able to transition from looking out for hazards to instead noticing all there is to appreciate. And the second thing is the way that people construct affirmations. So I have something which I call true affirmations as opposed to affirmations. So an affirmation is, let's say you are broke and you say, I'm so grateful because my bank account is so full of money. And that's going to read like a lie. It's going to feel incongruent. Your body and your mind are going to go, no, you're not. You don't have that to be grateful for. What are you talking about? So that affirmation isn't going to work. However, if you say things like, I am so grateful because I am increasingly discovering new ways to increase my wealth. I feel grateful because progressively, day by day, I know I am moving closer towards having more abundance. I am so grateful for coming into contact with and being in touch with and becoming friends with people who have more wealth that can pour their knowledge, their wisdom, their experience and expertise into me. I am so grateful that in this modern world, there's so many innovations and there's so many opportunities to explore, to create and generate more wealth. I'm so grateful for the skills I have, because I know that when I apply them into soothing people's pains or solving people's problems, I will be able to ask for compensation monetarily for that. And so that's how you shift an affirmation into a true formation. So those statements, the little witnessing critic inside your mind can't argue with that. Can't say like, oh, but you're broke. Because even if you're broke, you can still say, I'm really grateful that I'm moving in the direction towards more wealth. In the same way that even if you're not in the best physical shape, you can say, I'm grateful that I have a desire to be more fit. I'm grateful for even for the desire, even for the thought that I want my life to be better is already something to be grateful for. And so when you shift your languaging around this, you shift from these incongruent or untrue affirmations into what I call true formations. And then they feel good inside your system. They resonate with a different frequency. And now you're already priming yourself for a more positive path.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Like you said, it's the way you speak to yourself, it's the way you feel about yourself, and it's the way that you change your mind to create success. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in today. I'm really excited that you're all here. Thank you so much, Tariq, for your time. And I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for more awesome information, tips and tricks on how to create a successful business mindset. Thank you very much. Bye for now.
You're welcome.